Thank you all for listening and watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my channel Master Coolits. Hoping that you will not skip my ads. It's a big help for me by not skipping it. Thank you so much. Dragon Shadow. The Rise.
Zane Martell's face twisted in pain, yet a thrill ran through him as he gazed at the ground, where a gaping pit yawned like a bottomless abyss. The heat from the scorched earth rose like waves from the pit's edge. The ground, obliterated by the force of the human emperor's palm, had disintegrated into a cloud of dust that drifted away into the air. Yet the dragon-devouring prison, with its unique properties, swiftly repaired the gaping hole. Slumping to the ground, Zane Martell sank into deep thought. His arms throbbed with a weighty pain, as if filled with the dense weight of mercury. Each time he practiced the human emperor's palm, it felt as though his limbs might explode from the sheer force.
If even the first palm is this tough, the second and third must be brutal. I need a way to toughen up my body fast, or maybe some ancient demonic beast blood essence.
He knew his best bet was to find the blood essence of an ancient demonic beast. The Sky Demon 99 transformations technique he possessed allowed him to refine demonic blood, extracting a trace of its essence. This was how he could transform into a beast. However, using this technique consumed most of the demonic blood, leaving little benefit for his physical body.
If I could transform into a devouring dragon directly, I'd be unstoppable. Even a martial king wouldn't stand a chance.
After a half-day's rest, Zane Martell resumed practicing the human emperor's palm. He stood thousands of meters in the sky, the Cloud9 galaxy shining above him, as he unleashed one strike after another. The sky echoed with deafening blasts as waves of shimmering light rippled outward. Despite his immense strength and energy, Zane Martell could only manage 10 strikes before his energy was completely drained. After another half-day of intense training, Zane Martell left the dragon-devouring prison and joined Elora in the Divine Hawk camp. Together, they trained his Flameclaw cavalry, equipping them with the finest weapons and elixirs to bolster their strength. A few days later, a massive force from the pseudo-royal family and the demon god sect launched an assault on the city gate of Meadow Continent. This time, they brought more fighters, including several elders in the formidable expert level. Yet strangely, Orion Slade, the sect master of the demon god sect, was nowhere to be seen. Perhaps he feared Gabriel Stone, who was stationed there, or maybe he was still recovering from their last fierce battle.
Something's off. Leonard Hunter's absence is worrying too.
The battle started with Meadow Continent at a disadvantage. The Redfire Blood Wolf army, with their overwhelming numbers and precise tactics, tore through the defenses like a spear through cloth. But then, Zane Martell, leading the Flameclaw cavalry, stormed onto the battlefield, shifting the tide. The cavalry's might crushed the enemy forces, reducing the Redfire Blood Wolf soldiers to mangled corpses. In just 3 hours, the enemy was routed, fleeing hundreds of kilometers in terror. The battlefield, once a scene of chaos and death, now stood eerily silent. Zane Martell, weary yet victorious, gazed over the horizon. The sense of something amiss lingered. What were Orion Slade and Leonard Hunter planning? And how would Zane Martell overcome the challenges ahead? The battlefield may be silent now, but the real fight is just beginning. What forces are gathering in the shadows? How will Zane Martell's quest for power unfold? The answers lie ahead, in a story where every twist brings new peril and unexpected alliances. As the dust settled and the wind whispered through the silent battlefield, Zane Martell knew his journey was far from over. The path ahead was shrouded in uncertainty, each step fraught with danger. But one thing was clear: the world would tremble before the might of the human emperor's palm. Zane Martell, accompanied by Samuel Blake, Madame Evelyn and their allies, seized the opportunity and pursued their enemies relentlessly until they were utterly annihilated. Over 10 days later, messages arrived from Tanix Martell in Glimmer Continent and Liam Brooke in FA Continent. They had engaged the Demon God sect multiple times, experiencing both victories and setbacks, but reaping significant gains. Liam Brooke, with his formidable forces, was determined to make a decisive strike toward the northern provinces and directly assault the Imperial City. Inspired by this, Tanix Martell and Logan Stone in Glimmer Continent coordinated with Gavin Owens and Samuel Blake to launch a surprise pincer attack, hoping to trap the enemy and catch them off guard.
We need to act fast and coordinate. The enemy won't know what hit them.
Samuel Blake and Gavin Owens rallied a vast army overnight, preparing to face the Demon God sect and the pseudo-royal family in a climactic battle in the Imperial City. Bo Thompson, due to her unique status, remained in the Divine Hawk camp of Meadow Continent to maintain the army's morale. Gabriel Stone stayed behind to protect Zane Martell and Bo Thompson. 10 days had passed since Gavin Owens and Samuel Blake led their massive forces northward. Zane Martell and Alora, leading 20,000 Flameclaw cavalry, joined the march. After 5 days of relentless travel, they united with Gavin Owens' army. Together, the combined forces advanced with a powerful presence. The roars of war echoed through the skies, and the pounding of war drums resonated into the clouds. The mighty Quick Pass, marking the border between Meadow Continent and Leon Continent, loomed ahead. The rugged terrain made it an impenetrable fortress, with towering mountains and narrow passes that seemed impossible to breach. The Quick Pass was fortified by a wall, where more than 10 experts of the expert level awaited their arrival. The tension was palpable as they prepared for the impending confrontation.
Gavin Owens, you traitor. How dare you defy the royal family? Surrender now or I'll cut you down once the gates open.
A burly man in heavy armor stood atop the city gate, his voice booming with menace.
Ambitious traitor, the three-tailed spirit fox tribe are the true rulers. Don't you know the atrocities committed by the Demon God sect and the pseudo-royal family? They stole the throne from us.
Gavin Owens sneered at the man, recalling their shared history. Once a general for the royal family, the burly man had become a traitor, aligning with the enemy.
Ha ha ha, the three-tailed spirit fox? That's ancient history. The world now belongs to the Demon God sect and the Golden-Winged Rock. You can't change that.
The burly man's laughter echoed across the battlefield, filled with contempt.
Let me tell you something. The Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven Palace in the Mystic Territory is about to be chosen. Guess who got the invitation?
Hearing this, Gavin Owens and the others' faces paled, their bodies trembling with realization.
Invitation? Are you saying Leonard Hunter and...
As the weight of the burly man's words sank in, a chilling silence fell over the battlefield. The implication of Leonard Hunter's involvement sent a shiver down their spines. What was the true nature of this invitation? What plans did the Demon God sect have in store? The answers lay in the shadows, promising more danger and intrigue. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the very foundations of their world. What role would Zane Martell and his allies play in the unfolding drama? And how would they navigate the treacherous path ahead? In a land where the fate of kingdoms hung by threads, the air at Quick Pass was thick with tension. A burly figure, cloaked in arrogance and might, stood for a motley crew of soldiers.
Ha 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 ha, that's right. Leonard Hunter and Ethan Reed got it. So how do you feel now? Disappointed? Crushed?
His laughter echoed, a dark melody of triumph, and his words hit like daggers. The expert-level warriors around him, their power evident in their imposing stances, joined in his laughter, a chilling chorus that sent shivers down the spines of their adversaries. The words struck Gavin Owens and Samuel Blake like a bolt of lightning. Their minds blanked, overtaken by a rush of despair and shock. Even Zane Martell, usually composed and commanding, found his expression darkening with the weight of the news.
When I first heard this, I was even worse off than you. Ha ha ha. The invitations will be delivered soon. All your efforts, everything you fought for, will be for nothing.
The laughter rang out, a cruel reminder of the power and influence that loomed over them. The Wormhaven Palace, a bastion of unrivaled power on the Mystic Territory, stood at the pinnacle of authority. And the Wormhaven Dragon King, an emperor among emperors, could shake the world with a mere glance. Every 5 years, this palace scoured the continent for talents of unmatched prowess and strength. Those chosen would compete for the coveted title of the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven. The Zora Mountains, a mere speck on the continent, was but one of many places where hopefuls gathered. For those in the tranquil sea region, The possibility of becoming a dragon envoy, even a mere reserve, promised immense power. Just a whisper of influence could overturn entire kingdoms, decimate royal families, and change the course of history with a flick of a wrist. To Gavin Owens and his comrades, this revelation was the worst possible news. It threatened to render their struggles meaningless, their sacrifices in vain.
So that's why I haven't seen Leonard Hunter lately. He's been in seclusion, training, and preparing for the preliminary rounds in the Zora Mountains. If he and Ethan Reed get selected, all our efforts will be for nothing.
The realization hit like a tidal wave, washing over the high-ranking officers, their faces etched with anxiety. The screening process for the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven was a grueling challenge. The stakes were unimaginably high, and failure was not an option.
Humph. Say what you want today, but we're determined to conquer Quick Pass.
Zane Martell's voice cut through the despair, rallying the tens of thousands of soldiers around him. Their spirits, momentarily lost, found new strength in his words.
That's right. Ruffin, open the gates.
But Ruffin's smirk faltered, surprise flashing across his face. He had expected his words to cow them, to make them retreat in fear. Instead, they roared back with renewed vigor.
Humph, you think I'll open the gates just because you ask? Dream on. If you've got the guts, break through my formation and attack us.
The sky above Quick Pass shimmered with a massive formation, symbols swirling like tadpoles, a barrier of immense power that loomed ominously over the battlefield.
How dare you challenge us? Attack.
With a unified roar, tens of thousands of troops surged forward, unleashing a storm of arrows and spells against the formation. The air crackled with energy as the attacks rained down, each impact reverberating like a thunderclap. The battlefield was a cacophony of chaos, the formation trembling under the relentless assault, yet it held firm, the symbols above shifting and glowing, defying the onslaught. But as the dust settled and the din of battle momentarily quieted, the formation still stood strong. Tension hung heavy in the air, questions burning in the minds of the warriors. Would their relentless attacks be enough? Could they breach the formidable defenses and seize victory? Or was this just the beginning of a desperate fight against an insurmountable foe? The sky above Quick Pass glimmered with an impenetrable formation, a shimmering fortress of energy that flickered under the relentless assault of the attacking forces. Despite their ferocity, the formation swayed only slightly, its luminescence unwavering, unyielding.
Ha ha ha! It's useless. This is a high-level formation forged by the Demon God sect from the High Kingdom itself.
Ruffin's laughter cut through the battlefield, mocking the desperate efforts of the attackers. Standing proudly atop the city gates, his voice dripped with condescension.
Gavin Owens, you could spend eternity trying, and you'd still never crack it.
Gavin Owens' face darkened, his resolve hardening. He barked an order to his troops, his voice a beacon of command amidst the chaos.
Focus our attacks. Aim as one.
The soldiers channeled their attacks together, a concentrated torrent of energy, fierce and relentless. Yet the formation held, not a single crack marring its surface.
Let me try.
A high-ranking officer, his aura blazing with power, soared into the air. He unleashed a barrage of powerful palm strikes, each one crashing against the formation like a falling mountain. The formation shuddered under the onslaught, but it remained intact. Ruffin's smirk widened, his arrogance growing.
Ha ha ha! What a loser! Can't even put a dent in it!
The officer's face twisted in anger and helplessness. He unleashed another volley of attacks, his frustration palpable. But the formation absorbed the blows, indifferent to his efforts.
D***. What is this formation made of? Why won't it break?
Shaking his head in defeat, the officer returned to his troops, his spirit dimmed by the formation's resilience. Samuel Blake, unable to bear the sight any longer, prepared to step forward, determination blazing in his eyes.
General, let me try.
Samuel Blake turned, surprise flickering across his face. Zane Martell, at the first stage of the expert level, seemed an unlikely candidate to break such a formidable barrier.
Zane Martell, are you sure about this?
Zane Martell's expression was calm, his resolve unwavering. Samuel Blake, remembering Zane Martell's true strength, nodded and stepped aside, allowing the young warrior to take his place. Zane Martell ascended into the air, his gaze locking onto Ruffin's. His demeanor was calm, yet an unspoken challenge lay in his eyes.
Mr. Ruffin, if I were you, I'd run far, far away instead of standing here like a fool.
Ruffin's laughter erupted, a harsh mocking sound that echoed through the battlements. His generals joined in, their laughter a cruel symphony of disbelief.
Ha ha ha! You think you can defeat me? You, at the first stage of the expert level? What a joke! Come on then, I'm waiting!
Despite the jeers, Zane Martell's confidence didn't waver. He smiled, his aura intensifying as a vibrant green light began to swirl around him, filling the air with a sense of impending power. The green light coalesced in his palm, growing denser and heavier, as though it carried the weight of mountains. His arm trembled under the pressure, but he maintained his focus, the light crystallizing into a brilliant glow. The air around Zane Martell shimmered as his aura expanded, an unstoppable force gathering at his command. With a shout that resonated through the battlefield, he unleashed his power.
Human Emperor's palm.
A colossal palm print surged forth, its texture detailed and intricate, growing rapidly until it towered over the battlefield at 100 meters tall. The sheer force of it swept through the ranks, an unstoppable tide of energy. Even from within the safety of his formation, Ruffin felt the oppressive weight of impending doom. His mocking smile faltered, replaced by a grim realization of the power unleashed before him. As the colossal palm descended, the formation trembled, its symbols flickering in desperation. The air was thick with tension, the outcome teetering on the brink of the unknown. Would the formation hold against such an overwhelming force, or would it shatter, bringing the battle to a decisive, world-altering climax? The answers, the fate of Quick Pass, and the destiny of all involved, hung in the balance, poised to be revealed in the moments to come.